Edge is the single most important thing when it comes to winning in sports bet. There's a variety of different edges, and I'm going to talk you through where they come from and how they come about. So bookmakers will set their lines reacting to news. So let's say a player gets injured or a team has had an upset recently or something that could affect the team, that will change their lines. Also, money flowing in. So if sharp bettors come in, people that really understand the game very well, if they come in and they bet on something, well, the bookmakers are going to go ahead and actually change their lines to adjust accordingly so they're fair to the market. And the time just before a game starts is the bookmakers' most accurate odds. So anything before then is where we can really extract the edge from. If we take two independent bookmakers, it's like Ladbrokes and Sportsbet, virtually they're the same company, but they differ on a few different things. So the odds creation methods is the biggest one, their promotions, but the way they make odds is a little bit different. They have different weightings and different methods to work out the probabilities and slightly different figs. If a company has better technology, it's harder to actually extract edge from them because they're going to be quicker and sharper on their lines. But if a particular bookmaker is slower and they have worse technologies than some of the big corporations, we can get edge from that because let's say LeBron James gets injured. Maybe they're going to be late to actually updating their lines. Now, the window may not stay open for very long. It could be as little as 30 seconds. It could be as much as 10 minutes. But that is a window where the bookmaker has priced it incorrectly to the market because of the change of probability reacting to this news. So that is one particular edge where it can come from. They have messed up their lines because they are late to news. Another form of edge is when they get their model wrong. So again, if they have worse technology or they set their lines independently, they might think something is different to the market. And that is edge. It might be less of an edge than what you might get reacting late to news, but it's a more sustainable edge because it lasts a little bit longer. You're not as likely to get restricted. So they're primarily the ways where we will get edge from in positive expected value betting. The same ways where we get edge in positive expected value betting can translate over to arbitrage. The difference in odds creation and being slower. This will create arb opportunities against other bookmakers. So this is primarily where some of the most common edges come from. It's just really with slower technology, being late to news, or having their model wrong. There's other forms of edge, which is promotions, and that's a whole different rabbit hole. But the bookmakers are knowingly giving you an edge because what they do is they hope that people will keep betting if they secure a bit of a win. So it's a bit of a loss leader to them. These can yield edges of percentages up to 20, 30, 60%. It can be really high. Bookies aren't really too keen on you extracting edges from promotions. And the downside is they kind of know that you're extracting edges because they already know promotions are an edge. Whereas something positive expected value, it might be ignorant to know that they even have an edge on their side. And arbitrage, they can track when there's arbitrage opportunities against other books on their side. So now you understand where edge actually comes from, but how can you take advantage of that? It's rather hard without software to find edge unless you're doing promotional betting because the edge is just evident. If you want to find edge just through their vanilla odds, the best way to do that is to take a collection of all of the bookmaker odds. And it's the same thing as what we do here at WagerWise. We will go out and we will grab a collection of bookmaker odds, essentially the whole market from different regions around the world. Is you want to take the vig out of it because then you get the bookmaker's true probability of what they believe it to be worth. And once you have a collection of no vig odds, you put them together and you find an average. And if one is over that average, that's called positive expected value, or it could be an arbitrage opportunity. And if you bet on these over a long period of time, that's what's going to actually make you profitable, is just finding mispriced odds. Edge is always going to be a little bit more subjective across different providers, but realistically, it's always going to kind of be the same because they're just looking at the data of the collection of sportsbooks. And that's why we also include books from the US and the EU, so we have a really strong, fair price. Now, if edge exists, why don't more people use it? That's the million-dollar question, is because they just don't know it exists. People live this fallacy that they can have edge through their own intuition, but they can't. No one really can, because all the pieces of data that someone has access to in terms of player statistics or team statistics, the sportsbooks have that as well. So the best way to go out and find edge is just look for their mistakes rather than trying to beat them at something that they're really, really good at. You just find when they slip up. And for example, we might find 3,000 positive expected value opportunities a day. But we're scraping this market every minute, all day, every day. Quite hard to find it if you don't have software. And that's why we have the software and we give it to you so you can go out and get the edge and make money from the sportsbooks.